So the new unit that we're going to do is a slave narrative unit. And we've already watched the video from Frederick Douglass, and we're going to start reading him next week. This week, what we're doing is reading from the female perspective, because that's going to be different, right? So we're looking at the female perspective. We're looking at a slave narrative from Harriet Jacobs. And this is an excerpt, which means it is a larger work, and we're just going to read a section of it. So I did post it on Schoology, but remember, you guys, you can get to the Holt McDougall, your English textbook, on this page, your class links. And if you do it this way, remember there's the audio, so it will read it to you. So if you click on this, it should bring you right to the page with your textbook. Mine's a little different because I have a bunch of textbooks. So if you go to the online textbook right here, and then the drop-down boxes. So we're going, it's going to be From Romanticism to Realism and Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. So you press go, and remember that the Adobe Flash never works, so you have to go to Allow, and then you have to go back and redo it. So Unit 3, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And again, these pages are directly on Schoology. So the first thing that I'm asking you guys to do is answer the question. It's like the larger question, like what is it that this story is trying to get us to understand or think about? So the question that you're answering is, what is the price of freedom? It says, parents often put their children's welfare before their own. In Harriet Jacobs' case, the sacrifice she made for her children was tremendous. Running away put her at risk of being caught and severely beaten, jailed, or sold. In addition, she deprived herself of the opportunity to play a role in the raising of her own children. So that's a little bit of the background and what we're talking about in this story. So where this says discuss, you are going to just write it on the bottom in the comment section. And if you would like to respond to somebody else's in an appropriate and educational way, I'll give you an extra credit point as well. I'm going to be often doing extra credit points just so you can make up for anything in the past that you didn't do, or if there's going to be future assignments that maybe you're unclear with. These extra credit assignments, you can do them all. You can get more than 100. So the discussion question is, think about sacrifices people have made for their own or their children's freedom. Discuss examples from the past to the present. And this is with a group of classmates. And that's what I'm talking, like you're just going to type this. And then it says, can the price of freedom ever be too high? And I know the sacrifices that my parents made for me, and the sacrifices that their parents made for them. We've kind of talked about this throughout the year. My father was an immigrant, and his parents came here in the late 1950s because of stuff that was happening in Ireland. There was a lot of violence, there was bombings, the Catholics and the Protestants were fighting a lot, and my uncle was kind of getting a little bit in on the bad side of the fighting. So in order to kind of get them out of that situation, my grandfather came here by himself. He was here for 6 years, left his 5 children in a different country, came here. The Irish weren't treated very well because it was, one of those time periods where they said, like, oh, the Irish are coming over here and taking everyone's jobs. And then slowly he sent over for one child at a time because it was all they could afford. And he wound up not being with my granny, his wife, for 13 years. So